Bionicle. You know, this is usually the part of the video where I show stuff I have regarding to the property I'm talking about, such as the Bionicle books, the Game Boy games, etc., in order to indicate that I'm a fan. Yes, this is the part where I talk about my nostalgic recollection, and even though I bought these at a thrift shop years down the line, and I'm talking years down the line, Bionicle hasn't been made since 2016, I think, technically. I bought this in 2019. No series. This is the part where I talk about it like I was a huge fan. When quite clearly I was not. Just because I didn't own the games or the books, which I threw all the way over there, so I'm not going to pick it up to show, doesn't mean I was not. Doesn't mean I don't have a personal connection to Bionicle, of course, or as we call them in Portugal, Bionicles. Because really, I have a very personal and upsetting story regarding Bionicle, and Val will have to forgive me for being overly sappy and what am I still doing with the Bionicle games? Don't even have the PS1 for God's sake. For being overly sappy and dramatic and personal with Bionicle. The truth is, it's associated with some of the best memories I have of my mother. Now, my mother isn't dead. My mother hasn't died. But the truth is, we have a difficult relationship whereupon we fight. We fight a lot. That's some of things that's due to some things in me, some things in her. We tend to strike each other out. We tend to fight a lot. And I don't make things easy. This isn't probably a mystery blaming her. So, Bionicle, as I said, is sorta related to one of my favorite best childhood moments. Now, I'm not a child anymore, obviously. But what this moment has of special is that it sort of brought together me and my mom. We fight a lot, but it was a moment of compromise, a moment of peace, a moment of generosity of her part. And it's not due to the monetary value of the toy. It was a Bohato, one of the first. Uh, and this is the part where you see I'm not a real Bionicle fan because I don't know the war, I don't know the characters. There's Rhea and Gavi, and etc. So I'll just share the story, and then I'll introduce the toy, and then I'll build it. This was, I suppose, 2004, 2005. I was 7 or 8, and me and my mom had just fought. We tended to fight a lot. It was something we did quite often, actually, very, very often. And as when you're a child and your mom is mad, do you tend to tiptoe around, tend not to set her off, right? So usually we went to the supermarket. I don't recall if there was a specific day, but every week supermarket. My baby sister was born, so we tended to go every week. We needed groceries, of course. And usually, as a small token, we got to pay, and there's the impulse racks where they place toys and other small bobs and bits, which people normally grab out of the wind because it's $1, it's €2. What harm can it do? And at that particular supermarket, I still recall the supermarket. There were usually Hot Wheels, and they were $1.99. So I usually got my way. I had a big basket, filled with Hot Wheels, hundreds and hundreds of them, collected over the years. And since I was 3 or 4, once a week for 4 years, as you can imagine, I built quite a collection. But funnily enough, that week my eyes fell on something else. It was a Bionicle. It came in a canister, and my eyes were drawn to it. And I was like, I must have it. As our children want a hot new toy or the toy in the impulse rack. And remember, my mom was still mad at me, so probably not the best idea to ask her for the toy. Probably a stupid idea, a little bit dumb. But I was setting my eyes on it like, should I not? And she noticed my stare, and usually when she's mad at me, she doesn't get me anything. And like, I know the Bionicle probably didn't cost too much. I don't I don't know the prices. Maybe someone, but it wasn't too expensive. It was a heck of a lot more expensive than the Hot Wheels. I thought the Lego toy was $199, but it wasn't too expensive. I guess because she looked at it and she grabbed one and she said, "Do you want this?" I was like, "Should I say yes?" Because of course I wanted. I was jumping. I was anxious to get it. But should I? Is this a test? How do I fail? How do I pass? And I was like, "Yeah, we will be good." I was like, "Yeah," because she was mad. So what? So we ended up sort of making a deal where I would get any Hot Wheels for a few months, a few weeks, for 6 weeks, 1 or 2 months, but she'd get me that. Uh, and remember, she didn't have to do this. It's a toy. She didn't have to anyway. But she was. It's stupid now that I say it like this, because it looks like I got a toy, I tricked her, but I think she was trying to sell me that. Maybe that's bad parenting. Maybe she succumbed to my whims when I was being a bad person. But it meant a lot to me. Because when we got home, I opened it up. And I have built a Pahato here. I've built it already. But when we opened it, it was Lego, of course. It was to be built. As you can imagine, I was 7, I was 8. I couldn't do that on my own. Wait, I couldn't follow instructions? Yeah, I couldn't. So I got her to help, and that really was a bonding experience. Because over the course of that building, of the toy, and let me tell you, I've built it. It took me 2 hours. I sped up the video later. But let me tell you, over the course of that building, she showed so much tact and grace, and we talked things through. Of course, I'd be back to yelling at her a few weeks later. She'd be back to yelling at me. But there was there was a period of peace. Sort of bought, I admit, but that always stood out to me. We building it together, and she tried to do stuff with us constantly. My baby sister and me, but at the time it was really not. My sister was 2 or 3, she was in and out of the hospital, that's another story. So she taking the couple hours to sit there with me, play with the Pohato, build it. Anyway, and that was my story with Bionicle until recently. Of course, I had a few pirate DVDs with the movies that came with a mini CD, I believe. That's what the box says. I must have had it. And I knew the story vaguely. So Bionicle had always sort of swept on my mind. It was a good memory, but a faint one. A faint one. I couldn't tell about what it was exactly. I vaguely knew the name. I had the 3 movies on pirate DVDs, so burnt CDs, in crap quality, but I hadn't watched it in years. And then I met a friend. I don't know if I can mention her name. I don't know if she'd want that, but she knows who she is. And she was really into Bionicle. She still is. She built her own. She writes, she draws, she does all kinds of stuff. And we started talking, and Bionicle sort of came up. And I was like, yeah, I have this. I probably still have mine in the attic. Because when I moved a lot. Old toys, I don't play with toys anymore. I'm a grown person, apparently. Were left in the attic. You know how it is. The attic of my grandma, where we lived at the time. So she was, and I wanted to surprise her. I wanted to go to the attic, which is in a whole another city. I had to take 2 buses to get there. Funny story. Surprise her with pigs. So I went to the attic 3 or 4 separate times trying to get the toy. And I admit, I was nostalgic. I wanted to see the toy. I wanted to explore. I wanted to remember those good times. My mother, because she's still alive and we still talk, but Those were really good moments. Uh, and that's when, that's when, after 3 days searching, my grandma said, "Oh, I gave them away. You're a grown man. Man, you don't need your ties, do you?" And I was pretty upset because you can just give my stuff away without asking. I know I left it in your space. I know that you need the space, you need the stuff, but you call me to come and get it. You don't drop something that's dear to me, my Bionicle. It's so dear to me, I forgot about it. Don't drop it and just hand it over to someone else for favors or whatever she did. And so I was upset and I was fuming. And that friend came to the rescue. I told her this story, I just told you all. Because, when you're friends, you sort of tell secrets to each other, you tell about feelings and all that frou stuff. And she was like, "McPort, describe the Bionicle to me." And I was like, "No, I don't remember it all that fun. It was orange and red, maybe." So Tahoe, she said. I was like, "Maybe," but I remember the canister was brown. And there was definitely some brown and yellows. And she was like, "Was it this one?" Because little did I know my friend at the time had already opened that Wegway base site, Brickwink, or whatever it's called. I don't use it. And she was searching for the model to get it to me. And I was like, and so she surprised me with that, which was a hell of a lot of work. And she trophy didn't have to do that. I was astounded at her generosity. And since she simply dropped the bomb, I sent it to you. It's like, you didn't have to, but thank you. So after 15 years, 15 years, I finally have my Bahato again. And sure, I built it on my own this time, not with my mom, but I can look back at it, and it was a tough build. And remember the good times. Uh, and I don't remember it being so hard to build. I guess my mom did most of the legwork back when I was a child, but it was fun. It was something I enjoyed. So I'll see a speed up video of the thing being built, and let me tell you, I had to do a lot of guesswork because this didn't come with instructions or the mini CD, by the way. But thank you to her. She was amazing. I won't complain. Never look a horse gift in the mouth, they say. And this was more than I was expecting. So here's the video.